بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Dear students of Operations Management course, today inshallah we will start with new chapter number 8, location strategies. We still talking about the 10 operation management strategic decisions. At the previous chapter we start with the first strategy decisions related to operation management, which is design of goods and services, and today inshallah we will continue talking about the second strategic decisions related to operation management, which is location strategies. At the end of this chapter, the students will be able to identify and explain 7 major factors that affect location decisions, compute labor productivity, apply the factor rating method, complete a location and a break-even analysis, whether graphically or mathematically, use the center of gravity method, and at last to understand the difference between service and industrial sector location analysis. So the idea of this chapter is focusing on a decision of where to locate your facilities, where the firm should locate its facilities. So this decision is so different whether in a retail facility, a manufacturing plant, warehousing, service firms. So each of the decisions is a little bit different. It means the factors you are going to consider deciding where to locate facilities is different from one type of firm to another. So let's start to talk about the strategic importance of location. One of the most important decisions a firm makes, which is a strategic location. The world markets continue to expand, and the global nature of business is accelerating. So one of the most important strategic decisions made in many companies and many firms is where to locate your facilities or your operations. So the importance of this decision, it is increasingly global in nature. Significant impact, or this decision has a significant impact on fixed or variable costs. The fixed costs such as the land costs and the variable costs such as labor or utilities costs. So location has a major impact on the overall risk and the profit of the country, because it is affect whether it's fixed cost or variable cost. And also there are other costs that may be influenced by location decisions, such as the taxes, wages, raw materials costs, and the rents. Okay, so when all costs are considered, location may change the total operating expenses as much as 50%. So according to this 50%, so this decision, strategic location decision, is affect, or it has a significant impact on the operating expenses of the company. So it has a significant impact on the risk and the profit of the company. Also, we wanted to know that the strategic location, it is a decisions that made relatively infrequently, because sometimes demand has outgrown the current plant's capacity, or because of its changes in labor productivity, exchanges rate, costs, or local attitudes. Okay, so according to that, the decisions of strategic location made relatively infrequently. طيب عشان نأكد يعني هذه المعلومة، the decisions of strategic location made infrequently، بمعنى إنه لم يعني نسبيا لا يتم اتخاذها بشكل متكرر. So this decision is considered a long-term decision. Okay, هي تعتبر يعني من القرارات طويلة المدى، واللي تعتبر من الصعب إنه يتم كمان تغييرها. So once committed to a location, many resources and cost issues are difficult to change. So once you have put in all of the sunk costs the sunk costs in building a facility, so it is very difficult to be changed. Okay, so it is again a long-term decision, and it is decisions that made relatively infrequently. Okay, and also we wanted to talk that the costs is not the only criterion in facility location or in the decisions of the location which is chosen by the firm, but we have to be careful about it, because sometimes it may appear in initials a few days or in the short run that the cost is low, but in a long run it may lead to high costs. Okay, فبالتالي احنا بنقدر نحكي انه اللوكيشن ديسيجن مش فقط العامل الوحيد اللي حيأثر عليه هو الكوست، لكن لازم ناخده كمان بعين الاعتبار. احيانا قد يظهر لنا على المدى القصير انه هذا المكان او هذا الريجون اللي انا اخترته ممكن تكون تكاليفه منخفضه، لكن على اللونج ران ممكن تكون التكاليف اعلى وتكبد المنظمه تكاليف كثيره. As we said before, that the location decision often depends on the type of the business. For example, in industrial firms, the location decisions is usually focusing on minimizing the costs, because here you don't worry about the customers coming to your facilities. There is low contact between the firms or the organizations and the customers, while you are worry about produce products at lowest costs. While in another type of businesses, such as retail firms, here the strategy is focusing on maximizing revenue. Why? لأنه في retail firms or في service organizations عادة بيكون there is a high contact between the organization and the customers، فبالتالي هم بيركزوا بشكل كبير على هذا facility in order to provide adequate service for the customers. Okay. Also, in another type of firms or businesses, the warehouse location strategies, it may focusing on a combination of cost and the speed of delivery. So the objective of location strategy is to maximize the benefit of location to the firm, whether to minimizing the costs such as the manufacturing or the industrial firms, or to maximize the revenues such as the service organizations or the retail firms, or to speed of delivery and minimizing the costs such as warehousing. Location options may include expanding existing facilities, or to maintain the existing one and add new sites, or closing the existing one and relocating in different geographic areas. Location and costs. Location decisions based on low cost require careful consideration. Okay, as we said before, that the cost is not the only criterion in facility location, but we have to be careful about it and take it into consideration. Once in place, location-related costs are fixed in a place and difficult to reduce. Also, we said that once we have put in all of the sunk cost or the fixed cost in building a facility, so it is very difficult to be changed. It is a fixed cost. Determining optimal facility location is a good investment for any organization. Okay, factors that affect location decisions. Selecting a facility location is becoming much more complex with globalization. And as we said before in chapter number 2, globalization has taken place because of the development of market economies, better industrial communications, more rapid and reliable travel and shipping, ease of capital flow between countries, and also high difference or differences among labor costs. Okay, so many firms now consider opening new offices, factories, retail stores, or banks outside their home country. One approach to selecting a country is to identify what the parent organization believes are key success factors needed to achieve competitive advantage. Okay, so if the businesses or the organizations wanted to open a new offices or decide to open a new offices or countries or retail stores in new countries, it have to make something called analysis of a key success factors relating to this country to achieve a competitive advantage. Okay, the first step in location decisions اللي هي country decision. You have to be very careful in deciding at which country to locate your facilities. Okay, for this reasons we have to consider about several factors اللي هي key success factors for this country, such as political risks, governmental rules and regulations imposed by this country, attitudes, incentives, and here the incentives is related to that some countries provide incentives to companies to encourage them and to come and locate its facilities within this country. Other key success factor, cultural and economic issues, location of the market, labor talent, and the labor talent we wanted to talk here that sometimes the labor costs may low in some countries, but we wanna also to be careful about or to take into consideration the abilities and the skills of those labor to produce a high quality of products and services. الليبر مش عايزين نركز فقط على الليبر كوست انها تكون منخفضه، لانه بعض الدول فيها الليبر كوست منخفضه لكن ما في عندهم السكيلز والابيليتيز needed to produce a high quality products or services. We want to take into consideration another key success factor such as attitudes, productivity, costs, whether the variable cost or the fixed costs, costs related to taxes and so on. Availability of supplies, communications, energy, and we want to here to talk about the energy. It is very important, and there are some countries they don't have electricity and energy, or it is very expensive in this country, so لازم انه ناخذ قرار او يعني ناخذ هذا الشيء او هذا الفاكتور بعين الاعتبار في الدولة اللي احنا قررنا انه نحط فيها الاوبريشنز تبعتنا او الفاسيلتيز او to open the new offices or factories for our companies. Exchange rates and currencies risks. For currencies risks, if the currency is volatile or it become stronger in international location, so it is very expensive to make your product there, okay, or to locate your facilities there. So this is a very important factors should be taken into consideration in order to choose the country to locate your facilities within. After we choose or decide at whether to locate our facilities in this country or another, we wanna to go to the next decision. It is to decide in which region or community to locate our facilities. At which region or community we want to locate our decisions. زي ما عملنا هنا تحليل الكey success factor related to the country، كمان هنا هنعمل تحليل الkey success factors related to the region or the community or the specific geographic area at where we want to locate our facilities. The first key success factor related to the region, corporate desires, attractiveness of specific region, labor availability and costs and availability of utilities, environmental regulations, governmental incentives and fiscal policies, proximity of materials, and the proximity of materials is very important for manufacturing firms. بتقلل عليها الكوستس، بتكون في عنا يعني عملية الإنتاج بتكون أسرع. and also the proximity for the customers. فعملية بعد الإنتاج إنها تكون عملية التوزيع أو distributions to the retailers تكون كمان سريعة جدا. Okay. Land or construction costs. طيب في هنا عنا في السكند key success factor attractiveness of regions such as culture, taxes imposed, the climate. على سبيل المثال لما بنحكي على climate إنه في عندي بعض الدول بكون فيها موجود أو السنة بتمر فيها الأربع فصول كاملة، لكن في بعض الدول الأخرى مش كل الفصول الأربعة بتكون متوفرة، وهذا ممكن يأثر أيضا على عملية الإنتاج، خاصة إذا كانت متعلقة بوجود طقس معين. Okay. After that, we wanted to make a third decision to choose the site or to choose a specific site. Okay. Also, we wanted to make analysis or for a key success factor related to this site, such as the site size, the cost, air, rail, highway, and waterway systems, zoning restrictions, proximity of services, supplies needed. We wanted to make sure that our products or services reaches distribution centers and retailers, so you have to be close to hyper systems. Okay. And another factors should be taken into consideration to choose the best site is an environmental impact issues. Okay. To summarize the location decision, we can say that once affirmed decides which country is best for its location, it focuses on a region of the choosing country and community. The final step in the location decision process is choosing a specific site within a community. Okay. Besides the globalization, there are several factors affect a location decision, such as labor productivity and foreign exchange, and also the culture, changing attitudes toward the industry, proximity to markets, suppliers, and competitors. So we wanted to discuss in more details some of those factors. The first one is labor productivity. When the firm is deciding the appropriate location for its facilities, management should choose the area with a low wage rates. However, the wage rates cannot be considered by themselves. The management must also consider productivity. لازم ناخذ بعين الاعتبار مش بس اللي هي معدلات الأجور انها تكون منخفضة في المنطقة اللي انا هنتقل فيها او هيكون فيها الاوفيس تبعي او البلانتس تبعتي، لكن لازم اخذ بعين الاعتبار ايضا البرودكتيفيتي. على سبيل المثال في معطيني مثال في الكتاب. If Otis elevator pays $70 per day with 60 units produced per day in South Carolina, it will spend less on labor than a Mexican plant that pays $25 per day with a production of 20 units per day. ففي عندي منطقتين. The first one is South Carolina and the next one is Mexico. إذا بدنا نطلع فقط على ال wage per day أو ال payment per day حيكون الاختيار على الأقل، فإحنا راح نختار أكيد اللي هو مكسيكو لأنها بتدفع $25 per day، على عكس South Carolina it pays $70. فمن النظرة الأولى حيتبين أنه التكلفة في ساوث كارولينا حوالي 3 أضعاف اللي بتم دفعها في مكسيكو or in a Mexican plants. لكن إذا بدنا ناخد بعين الاعتبار ال output produced وبدنا نحسب ال productivity حتكون الأمور مختلفة. فلازم نحسب في هذه الحالة ال cost per unit. اوكي، مش لازم مرة ثانية انه احنا نطلع فقط على ال payment per day انه هنا $70 وهنا $25، لكن خد بعين الاعتبار انه انا بدفع $70 مقابل انتاج 60 وحدة في ساوث كالورينا، في المقابل بندفع هنا $25 ولكن الانتاج اقل 20 units. وبالتالي we have to calculate the cost per unit. How we can calculate the cost per unit? Labor cost per day divided by اللي هو total units or the output per day. Okay. فإذا بدنا نحسبها لساوث كالورينا الليبر كوست بير داي $70 divided by total number of output produced per day اللي هي 60 وحدة، فبالتالي هيطلع عندي الكوست بير يونت $1.17. اوكي، 1.17%. طيب هذه التكلفة اللي أنا بدفعها للوحدة الواحدة in South Carolina، ولكن في المقابل in Mexico عندي labor cost per day $25 and the total output produced per day 20 units، فبالتالي نصيب أو التكلفة للوحدة الواحدة 25 على 20 ويساوي 1.25% per unit. فكما هنلاحظ أنه الكوست بير يونت الأقل كانت لساوث كالورينا، مع انه من النظرة الاولى والوهلة الاولى اذا بدي اركز على الويج ريت او على الكوست الليبر كوست بيد بير داي فاحنا هنختار الاقل اللي هي مكسيكو. لذا يجب انه لا ناخذ فقط بعين الاعتبار الويج ريتس او الليبر كوست، لكن للانتقال او to move from one country to another or from one area to another لازم ناخذ بعين الاعتبار كمان اللي هو productivity. Okay. The second factor that affect the location decision exchange rate and currency risks. Okay, as we said before that the exchange rates and the currency risk have a significant impact on costs. Rates change over time, so it is volatile. So the firms can take advantage of a particularly favorable exchange rate by relocating or exporting to foreign countries. Another factor should be taken into consideration or affect the location decision اللي هي costs. We can divide the location costs into two categories. The first one is tangible cost and the second one is intangible. And what do we mean by the tangible costs? It is the cost that can be measured. Okay, such as utilities, labor costs, material costs, taxes, while the intangible costs, it is less easy to be quantified. It cannot be measured easily, and it is include the education, public transportation, community, quality of life. فمن الصعب إنه يتم قياسها. Okay. Location decisions based on cost alone can create difficult ethical situation. There are many ethical dilemmas arouse different stakeholders, whether customers, employees. They have different views than the firm itself. For example, moving from one country to another, it may reduce the employment opportunity. هذا حسب وجهة نظر الكاستمرز أو الناس الموجودين. While the firm prefer to produce it in the national country, but it is very costly. أكيد الدولة هي حابة أنها تنتجها في الدولة الأم، ولكنها كتير تكاليفها مرتفعة، فحيكون التكلفة كمان عالية على الكاستمر. فبالتالي هذه الأمور والdifferent views ممكن تؤدي إلى وجود اللي هو ethical dilemmas. Another factors that affect location decision: political risks, values, and cultures. National, state, local governments' attitudes toward private and intellectual property, zoning, pollution, employment stability may be changed from one country to another. So we wanted to take it into consideration in our location decisions. Also, the workers' values. It is another important factors that affect the location decisions. The workers' values may also differ from one country to another or from one region to another. Workers' views regarding turnover, unions, absenteeism are all relevant factors we want to take it into consideration. Those values may affect the company's decision whether to make offers to current workers if the firm relocates to a new location. Also, the culture is considered as important decision or factors in a location decision. Globally, cultures have different attitudes toward functionality, legal and ethical issues. So cultural variation in functionality by employees and suppliers may mark a difference in production and delivery schedules. Another factors should be taken into consideration or it affects the location decision, proximity to market. Locating near customer is extremely important, especially in service organizations. With just-in-time systems of production, the suppliers wanted to locate near to the users. So just-in-time systems or high transportation costs may make it important to manufacturers. Another factor affects the location decisions, proximity to suppliers. The firms locate near their raw materials and suppliers because of transportation costs, also the bulky products or perishable goods. فبالتالي يفترض انه احنا نكون قريبين من السبلايرز لانه في عندي بعض الجودز perishable اللي هي تفسد بشكل سريع، او ممكن يكون سبب اخر اللي هو تكاليف النقل والمواصلات تكون عالية، او لانه حجم وكمية البرودكتس كتير عالية. فمن الافضل ان نكون اقرب الى السبلايرز او الرو ماتيريالز تكون قريبة من الكمباني. The last factor that affect the location decision, proximity to competitors. Whether in manufacturing or service organizations, both of them they like to locate near to their competitors. Okay, and this is called clustering. Okay, and what do we mean by clustering? Clustering, it is the location of competing companies near each other, often because of critical mass of information, talent, venture capital or natural resources. فبالتالي عشان هذه الريسورسز موجودة فحنلاقي انه في عندي something called clustering. فبالتالي ال organizations أو ال competitors they are locating beside each others. So often driven by resources such as natural information, capital or talent found in both manufacturing or in service industries. Okay. هذه أمثلة على clustering companies. ناخذ بعض منها بقولي الindustry like theme parks, Disney World, Universal Studios and the Sea World. Locations تركيزها في Orlando and Florida. Reasons for clustering cause of good weather, warmth weather, tourists, inexpensive labor, a hot spot for environment. Another example such as the fast food chains, Wendy's, McDonald's, Burger King and Pizza Hut. Location sites within 1 mile of each other. Okay, so they are close to each other. Reasons for clustering stimulate food sales and there is a high traffic flows. فلكثافة المنطقة السكانية فبنلاقي إنه هذه الفاست فودز يعني كتير قريبة من بعضها البعض.